just wanted to share a little bit about some of the concepts that we utilize in this business to make it as effective as it is. And so we want to talk about a program that we're all involved in. It's called the 50-year program. And every person in our country and in most countries around the world are in a program where we start working around the age of 20, somewhere in our 20s. We get our first job that pays well or somewhat well, and then we work that job for 45 to 50 years. It used to be the 45 year program, but we're living longer. There's not enough money in Social Security, so they've extended it out to 50 years. This is accumulation of our tax information. And so the government knows how much we make, when we make it, and they know when we stop making money because they know when we're dead. We stop paying our taxes when we're dead. And so what happens is we start going along about age 20, and our income's going up a pretty steady pace during this era. But we reach a certain point. See, this is income on this axis, and this is time. And so as we move further out, at the age 35 to 45, our income usually plateaus. And not usually, everyone's income plateaus at a certain level. And we don't go up from there. And we liked this climb, so we fill this in with debt, right? Not we. I know I was corrected. One of the things we avoided out here is we didn't go into debt. We had some mentors that taught us about the danger of consumer debt, so we didn't get into credit card debt and buying refrigerators and cars and things on credit. I drive cars until they fall apart because I was taught not to buy anything that depreciates on credit. But I do use credit in a logical way to build businesses. And so you can use that if you learn from people who know what they're doing, like Robert Kiyosaki, people like that. And so I proposed a different program. And I was just reading a book, but you know, I've been talking about Robert Kiyosaki and his programs and his entrepreneurial thinking, and about people like Warren Woodward, Chris Brady, who talk about this 2 to 5 year plan. But I was reading a book by a gentleman named Chuck Brakeman called "Making Money is Killing Your Business." It seems like an odd title that everybody starts a business to make money, right? Well, starting a business to make money is actually the wrong reason to start the business. You start the business for freedom because you want to become free. Most people in this country, we work as employees. We work for someone else. We build someone else's vision. We build someone else's dream. We do that for 50 years, and then we retire. You know, usually we retire on a third or less of what we had when we couldn't really make ends meet back here. So everyone's heading for this cliff in our country. And we're going to really be in a world of hurt when a lot of people get to the point where we're all dropping into Social Security. Right now, Social Security is paying on average $1,100 a month. On average. Can you live on $1,100 a month? Well, it's in our future. So if we don't do something back here, we're going to be in trouble out here. So I'm a little bit farther along in here than some of you. So I have to take steps. So wherever we start this 2 to 5 year plan, you know, I propose that we take a different plan. We do something different. We do something that we create a business that is designed to create passive residual income that can free me from this pattern here. And what we do is we start somewhere back here, and in 2 to 5 years, as I gradually work this, it doesn't seem like, because I'm building leverage. Leverage is smaller at the beginning, it's bigger at the end. It's kind of like if you're shooting for the moon in a spaceship, you know, the moon moves. And if you're 1 or 2 degrees off when you're on the Earth, when you get out millions of miles, not millions of miles, but tens of thousands of miles to the moon, if you're just a half a degree off on Earth, you're going to completely miss the moon. And so so what leverage does is it starts small in the beginning and it gets bigger as it goes on in time if you do the right things over and over. And so what happens is we start in over a 2 to 5 year period. And Chuck Blackman says 3 to 5 years, he says. We start to replace this curve. And so what happens is we replace this, we escape this by taking a 2 to 5 year plan. He says a 3 to 5 year plan. Now he says he can teach any business owner how to get their business on a 3 to 5 year plan, where the business isn't just about making money and you're on this treadmill doing the same thing in your business year after year and never really getting free. He teaches people how to get the business to operate by itself through principles of leadership and so forth. But you have to have a business. he's talking to people who have businesses, people who own sub-sandwich shops, and people who own brake installation companies, and people who have oil change companies. But what do you do if you don't have a business? What if you do if you're an employee working for somebody else? You have to create a business. And what the Shopping Sherlock does is it actually gives us a business. It gives us a business that we can use the 2 or 3 to 5 year plan to get free. And so we're talking about freedom here, because true wealth is not only money, it's money with your time, being able to spend your time the way you want to. You know, when my career flatlined, I flatlined at a higher income than most people. You know, when I went flat, most people would have liked to have been flat where I was flat, but I was flat for 15 years. Still, I'm in the top wage earners in the country, right, where I flatlined. But I was wondering, how do I get off this? You know how we flatlined here, right? We went up like this, and then we went flat like that. Well, some people flatline up here. Well, I'm flatlined up here, but I don't want to be flatlined. And so I started taking a business course that you had to be invited in. People from companies like Pepsi, Sprint, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, executives from those companies, vice presidents, went to that company, and I was let in. They let me join that company and go to training. I went for 3 years, and it's not cheap. My company did, because it wasn't a traditional school, my company wouldn't pay for the tuition, so I'm paying for it. And so I learned this there. I learned this concept there. So I went to a meeting, somebody invited me to a meeting like this with another company, just like this meeting that we're in today. And they did this. So I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars to learn this. I come to a meeting like this, and someone's showing it to me for free. So I got off that track. I did 3 years of that high-level business training. And I found out, in a lot of ways, I was learning how to be a high-powered employee rather than be a free entrepreneur. I wanted to become a free entrepreneur. And so what I'm sharing with you right here can change your life. You read the book, Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. If you don't sit down at that book and think, I've been doing everything wrong since I started until I read this book. Why didn't anybody when I read this book, I took the book, Cash Flow Quadrant, and I threw it across the room. I was so ticked off. I took the book after I read it and I threw it against the wall. And then I went over and I got it and I dusted it off so that I could read it again. I was so mad because I went to college, I went to 3 years beyond college. Nobody taught me these principles. Nobody. And they are principles that work. It makes people multimillionaires. Robert Kiyosaki went from being homeless and living in his car to a millionaire in 4 years. 4 years later, he's a multimillionaire. Paul Zane Pilzer, at the age of 25, he became a multimillionaire. And so these principles can change our life, but they don't change our life just by see, we've been trained to think like industrial age people. We've been taught to go to school and learn a couple facts and then learn how to do something with those facts, like bolt a fender on a car. We've been taught, our whole education and school system is designed to teach us to be in the industrial age, to work basically in a factory type environment, because we were taught, we were given training, we were given education training, we were not given learning. See, learning changes who you are. It's not what you know, it's how you know what you know. It's not what you think in your heart that changes you, it's the way you think in your heart that changes you. We have to change not just the facts that we have, but the way that we think. And so we're talking about a revolutionary way to think here. And it's a gradual process, but I know if I keep putting this kind of understanding in my heart, what's coming in me is going to change who I am. And my goal is not only to get off this treadmill in 2 to 5 years, my goal is to be a totally different person at the end of 5 years. Because it's more about the person I'm going to become through this process than even the freedom that I have when I come out. The person that I'm going to become. And my wife is cheering me on, so I'll be a totally different person when I come out. So one of the principles is we have to stop listening to people who are broke. You're going to share the concept of this business with Billy Bob, and Billy Bob is going to say some crazy thing like, "Is that pyramid thing? You know, you know, no, Billy Bob, your company, that's a pyramid. You got your CEO, your vice presidents, your directors, your managers, and all of the rest of you. That's a pyramid. This is an entrepreneurial concept. They were saying the same things about franchising when Ray Kroc, franchising was illegal. Ray Kroc was bringing these concepts for McDonald's. He fought and fought and fought and finally got it all through, and now franchising is accepted, but it was looked at just as like what we're talking about here. This is not franchising. This is actually better for us than franchising because you don't have to pay tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in franchising fees. We're more free here. Okay, so we start listening to people who have made money. Not that being a millionaire is the goal, but people who have proven that what they're doing works. Those people know what they're talking about. So if we learn from those people, it has value. It works. So, so Michael Dell introduced in the year 2000, 1999 in Detroit, and then in the Southwest Technology Conference, he introduced a concept called the 3 C's. And the first C, and the 3 C's were for a successful online business. So here's a multimillionaire, the guy who pioneered electronics on the internet, talking about the 3 C's. So the first C is content. C-O-N. I should have listened in school. Content, commerce, and community. Those are his 3 C's. So he said you needed these 3 things for a business. So content is basically your web presence, your website. And every company has to have a web presence, but it's more than that. It's information on your products. Dell came up with these 3 things. There was a blog that almost destroyed Dell. It was called Dell Sucks. And it was all about how there were problems with Dell computers, with their customer service. And so what Dell did, instead of fighting or running, they embraced the people who are blogging, asked them to help them, and they actually made Dell a better company. They ultimately eventually became advocates of Dell. So they used content, their website, to explain their products, how they're getting better, how they're working the market, how they're becoming more affordable. So they embraced their content. On the Sherlock, our content are the videos that we have that market our product. When I'm talking to somebody on the phone, I want them to see our product. I first say, hey, have you ever thought about making money online? Is it worth just a few minutes to see a video on it? I show them the video, and then I walk them through the product. We save a few things, and then I say, are you ready to get started making money online? It's that simple. But the content are the videos on the site. It's also the way to sign people up on the site, the way to download the app, both on our phone and on the site. Those are all parts of our content. So the company has created a way for all of us to be business owners. There's no better way nor easier way to become a business owner, because the company has created a way for each of us to be an individual business owner, because each one of us has our own website. The Shopping Sherlock has a unique website for each one of us. It also has a unique app for our cell phone for each of us, our smartphone, right? So each one of us has our own content that was created by the company to have in our own business. We each have our own window to the internet through the content created by the Sherlock. We have a real business created uniquely for each of us, where we're part business owners of this concept, where we help people make money online, and that's our content. Online, there's tremendous amount of commerce, and commerce is moving more dramatically online than anywhere else. Double-digit growth, multi-trillion-dollar industry, going to $5 trillion in the next couple of years. So there's tremendous commerce online. Massive companies online, Google products, Amazon. But there's only one company that I know of that embraces the customer in commerce. It's the Sherlock, because the Sherlock is truly a low-cost model. Because when you use the Sherlock, it doesn't care about the advertisers, it doesn't care about shareholders. All it cares about is opening up the window to us to find the best price. So the Sherlock has commerce online better than Michael Dell, better than Hewlett Packard, better than anyone I've seen, because it truly embraces low-cost model. Even other models, they don't last very long because they're not low-cost models. Competitors of the Sherlock, there really is no competitor because we're truly the low-cost model. And community. And so Michael Dell said that he's mastered content. They got a great program and site online information. They have what he felt were great computers online. They're one of the biggest computer companies. But he said, we have not figured out how to create community online. Here's a multi-billionaire saying, I have not figured out community online. He said, if I could figure out community, I'd own the internet. But he could not figure out community. Now, Facebook figured out community. Facebook has figured out how to create massive communities online. Facebook is the third largest nation in the world. If it was a nation, it'd be the third largest country in the world. So Facebook has figured out community, but they haven't figured out really how to sell products online. And how do they create income for everybody? They don't. Facebook creates income for Facebook, not for everybody else. So community. So what the Sherlock has done is created our window to the internet, our business on the internet, our way to create product flow through the Sherlock, and a way to create community. Now we are creating a community of loyal buyers on the Sherlock, because when people use the Sherlock, they're loyal to the Sherlock because they find the best prices. It doesn't matter if it's a Hewlett-Packard or Dell or a Gateway computer or an Apple computer. It's going to be a lower price through the Sherlock. We're creating community through the Sherlock. And so community, we are creating community. And we're creating a community of business owners, because we're tapping into online affiliate income. And when we do that, we benefit the business owners as well. So we're also creating a loyal community of business owners worldwide. So this is Michael Dell's 3 C's. And I just want to touch on one more thing, because I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Another multimillionaire is Paul Zane Pilzer. Paul Zane Pilzer became a millionaire at age 25, advisor to 2 presidents. When everyone else was saying that the economy was going to go to the toilet in the 1980s, he was saying the 1990s were going to be the toughest decade in our history. Anybody here remember the 1980s? Sorry. Well, if you look at the the newsreels of the time, Jimmy Carter, when he would do his fireside chats, he'd be wearing a sweater because it was cold in the White House. Because we were running out of everything. We were running out of oil. We were running out of natural gas. I remember in the middle to late 70s sitting in my car in line waiting to fill up my tank in my car. I mean, that was a drag. And so he walked to his inaugural address to save gasoline. He said that we're in a terrible morass, whatever that means. Things are bad. And so along comes Paul Zane Pilzer, and he's telling the president, no, the 1990s are going to be better than any decade in our history, because the internet's coming, it's going to change things totally. And he was exactly right. As a matter of fact, with new kinds of drilling that we have and fracking, we have more natural gas than any other country in the world. Oil prices are at an all-time low. I mean, all the things they say we were running out of because of technology, they've all multiplied. Now, we haven't multiplied the more oil in the ground, but we multiplied our way to go and get more oil from the ground. When they were saying we're running out of everything, we were only pulling out 10% of the oil. Now we're pulling out 30%. And so everything's changing because of technology. And so his formula for wealth is wealth equals P times T. And so, so wealth is having time and money where I'm free. I can do what I want with my money, wherever I want. If I want to drop everything and go to Connecticut, I can. If I want to drop everything and fly to Denver, I can. P is your personal resources. It's what you know, it's what you've learned, it's what you've experienced. That's your personal P, that's your wealth. And T is technology. Technology is the multiplier. So wherever you can find a technology to multiply your resources by, you increase your wealth. So if you can use the Sherlock to help people go online, to help them shop and save money while they're shopping, while they're saving money, you're making money. You've used technology to increase your wealth. So this is the wealth formula of Paul Zane Pilzer. And I would read the book that he has called The Next Millionaires, where he talks about this at length. He says his whole 25 years of economic study comes down to that one formula. It's powerful. He talks about the internet as being there's been 3 great technology changes in history. The invention of writing, the invention of the printing press, and the internet. And so those are the 3 biggest. It's been a long time since we've seen the printing press. That was in the 1450s. And so that was a long time since that technology breakthrough with the internet. So, what we do is we share apps with people, but we also want to share the business with people. And so sometimes if you take, we make a list of the people that we know, and we call these people up, and we ask them if they would like to talk about this business concept. And so I'm going to make believe I'm calling someone, okay? And I'm going to send to Curtis for the Sherlock Nation site this script, and so you'll have it when it gets put up on the site, so you can use it. But I'm just going to demonstrate it. So, ring, 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 ring. Hello, Tom. Hey, this is Mark Levesque. How you doing? Great. Hey, you got a minute? Great. Hey, I was just wondering, the reason I'm calling, do you know Chuck Williams? Oh, you don't? Well, Chuck Williams is helping pioneer a global internet business. And I'm working directly with him. And, I just wanted to let you know that they're actually expanding in our area. I can't promise anything, but I'd like to go over the details with you. How's 7 o'clock Thursday night? Great. Thanks. See you then. That's it. Now that's a perfect one. Do they always go perfectly? Not always, no. So let's try one that's not so perfect. Ring, 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 ring. Hey, Tom. Hey, Mark Levesque here. How you doing? Yeah, I know it's been a while. Yeah. I was thinking about you. Do you have a minute? Great. Do you know Chuck Williams? Well, Chuck Williams is helping pioneer a global internet business, and I'm working directly with him. And they're actually expanding locally. And, I can't promise anything, but I was wondering if you were available for me to share the details with you. How about Thursday night at 7 o'clock? Well, have you heard of Michael Dell and his 3 C's? Well, it'll make more sense when we get together. Does Thursday night work? Okay. Well, I can't give you all the details over the phone. Have you heard of Paul Zane Pilser's wealth formula? Well, it'll really make a lot more sense when we get together. Would Thursday work for you? Well, I really can't explain it over the phone. It's kind of like getting a haircut on the phone. You really have to be in person to really get the details. So, would Thursday work for you? Great. Thursday. You're still on Maple Street, right? All right, I'll see you there Thursday at 7. Thanks. Take care. Bye. And you just have posture because, you know what? Chuck drew it out the last time we were together. It doesn't take in fact, if I'm at Jiffy Lube and I'm sitting there and I start talking to somebody, I just start asking them what they do. I ask people what they do, and I'll say, oh, really? That's interesting. How'd you get into that? Right? And then they'll say, whatever, and then I just keep asking what they do. And if they sit there and they don't ask me what I do, I don't tell them anything more about what I do. Some people will say, well, would you like to know what I do? But I don't. The first test, I want to work with people who are go-getters. I want to work with people who are, you don't have to be entrepreneurial yet, but you have to want to be more in life. And so the first test is ask me what I do. And when they ask me what I do, it's like I help people make money online. I make money online, I help other people make money online. If you give me a way to get a hold of you, I'm really busy, but when I get a chance, I might be able to give you a call. And maybe I can share a little bit about what I do. And then if they give me a way to contact them, then I'll wait a week and then I'll contact them. It's just, but they got to pass these tests. And I don't care. I blow them out on the phone right away. So like I'm going through this again, if I might end up really calling somebody. Hey, Tom. Hey, Mark Levesque here. Am I calling at a bad time? No? Well, that's great. Oh, it is a bad time? What's a good time to call you back? Okay, I'll call you back. Tom, it's Mark Levesque here. How are you? Hey, is this a good time now? Great. The reason I'm calling is, do you know Chuck Williams? No? Well, Chuck Williams is helping pioneer a global internet business. And I'm working with them directly, and they're actually expanding locally right now. I can't promise anything, but I'd like to come by and show you the details. Are you free Thursday night at 7 o'clock? Oh, well, have you heard of Michael Dell's 3 C's? Well, it'll make more sense when we get together. Thursday okay? Well, have you heard of Robert Kiyosaki and the Cash Flow Quadrant? Well, it'll make more sense when we get together. No, I can't really show you on the phone. It's kind of like getting a haircut on the phone. It really doesn't work, does it? I have to draw it out for you. So is Thursday okay? Well, it sounds like it's not the right timing for you or this isn't right for you. Listen, if something changes, give me a call. In the meantime, I got to go. Hey, take care. Nice talking to you. Bye-bye. So that's it. I just keep posture. Because I was at a meeting, and I talked to a lady, and I invited her to this meeting. She came to this meeting. She got it right away. She saw it. She had a ministry. She put some people in. But she said, would you share the business with this guy? And this guy shows up on a motorcycle, a crotch rocket, and young guy. And but I showed him the business. He got it like that. He brought Chuck to Faith Miracle Temple, and then Faith Miracle Temple put hundreds of people in. And it was a guy riding a crotch rocket that, that didn't look like a business person, right? And so that's the way it is. And that whole leg of mine is done. I never have to do anything more on that leg in my business. Now I have what we call a pay leg, my growing leg on the other side, and it's growing, and it's had ups and downs in that leg. We have ups and downs. But I know there is another Kathy and Patrick waiting for me for that leg. I don't know where they are. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're going to come through Jason and Angie's team, because they're over there with that group. But somewhere in my travels, that person is going to show up. And then all that bank volume, tens of thousands of dollars of bank volume I have in that one leg, is going to just cash in the other leg. And that's all I'm waiting for, because I know that I've done half the work. Well, I and my team have done half the work. I'm just waiting for the next right person to help me go all the way in the other leg. It only took one encounter, one invite, one encounter, one visit to a church, and we were off to the races. And it just happens. But it doesn't happen every time. It just takes time. But that person is waiting out there for every one of us. That life-changing Jennifer from the Philippines, who put all those people in the Philippines. That one person who just brought all those people in Hong Kong. That one person who brought all the people in that church group and all the people they knew. We're one person away, one ask away from financial freedom, from getting off this treadmill, from being free to do what I want when I want, to be able to help who I want when I want, the way I want. Freedom. That's my why.